Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I have only got 2 more autumn videos after this one and we are moving on to Halloween and I am so excited about it. So definitely turn that bell on. Halloween starts next week on my channel. Okay, this video is all about these molds. Now, these are beautiful leaf trinket tray molds. You would have seen them a million times over, I'm sure, from various artists. I bought these on Shein and they were around about £1.50 each, I believe. I did order 3, but I'm just making 2 per project. So we're making 4 in today's video. First up, we're going to chuck it all in. I really felt like I wanted to create that when the leaf starts changing in autumn and it's very dappled with multiple different gorgeous autumnal shades. That was the plan. Now this one here really did need a wipe. It had been sitting out in my craft room for quite a while and had gathered quite a bit of debris. So I just gave it a good old rinse with alcohol and a wipe to clean it all off. And of course PPE went on. Now first up, I'm going in and around the rim. Now here's the thing. I have tried this mica powder chuck it all in technique a lot lately and it's mostly with flat molds. I had no idea if this technique would work, how it would come out, and I had no idea how it would work with a mold that curves down. So I was a little bit concerned about this one, but I did start off by dumping mica powder. Now, this technique gives you some of the most beautifully organically blended mica results. And that is why I just dump the powder in. Now, I'm just using yellow to start with. I'm using all the autumn colours. So we're going with yellow, brown, and orange. But then we're going to back these in green to give us that I was once a green leaf and now I'm changing colour effect. Didn't know, again, how well it would work. So just using a cotton bud, again, just dumping the powder in. Now, it's a funny one. I'm not putting tons and tons and tons of powder, but I'm not just putting a tiny little dusting of powder. There's an in-between. And no matter what you do with this technique, you can't go wrong. If you use too much powder or too much alcohol, at the end of the day, I'm sure you're still going to get a beautiful, beautiful result. So it's hard for me to explain just how much powder I'm putting in or how little. Oh, copper. We're going with copper. We're not going with brown on these 2 at all. We're going yellow, orange and copper. This is the copper powder from Resin Pro. Now, Resin Pro powders are up there as some of my absolute favourite mica powders of all time. Now, I don't work with Resin Pro at all, but I do buy their powders from Amazon, and I just recently discovered, guys, it's too much excitement for one day, stop it. I just recently discovered that Resin Pro now sell their colours individually. They never did. I promise you, they never did. Like when I first bought these colours about 5-6 years ago, you have to buy them as part of a Resin Pro pack. And I went online the other day because I'd run out of my favourite purple, and they sell their colours now individually. Is it the same purple that I fell in love with before? I'm not so sure, to be honest. But I don't want to spend the money buying the whole pack because I've pretty much still got all of their colours. But yeah, here we are. Anyway, look, we've dumped all the colours in. We've given them a liberal spray of isopropyl alcohol. Now, again, I'm not saturating, but I'm not flooding the molds, but I am making sure that all of the powders have been saturated enough to blend with each other. Now we're backing these in green, and I'm going to be using this beautiful, again, it's all Resin Pro. It's like a khaki chameleon. It's got like a yellowy goldy hue to it. But yeah, again, Resin Pro going in. I did end up adding more because I just felt like it was too transparent for me. Transparent, just didn't want it that see-through. So I added a bit more to make it a lot more opaque. And was hoping that that would be enough. Newsflash, it wasn't, because it was still a little bit transparent at the end. But this is what is now going in, and this is hopefully going to give us that, you know, once was a green leaf and the edges are now turning into those beautiful coppers, golds and oranges and yellows and all of the yumminess that comes with autumn. Okay, speed up the video, Claire, because I can't possibly say any more about this. Pour the resin in, fill the mould up, wait 24 hours. 24 hours later, it was time to demold. Now, this was the first time I'd ever used these molds, and they're super fiddly to demold. Like, you get there in the end, but they're just one of those molds that are just like a tad fiddly, nothing too hard. But I decided to just cut all the film out because you do not need to sit here and watch me demold. It was painful, trust me. So here we are, leaf number 1. Now, I have to admit to you guys, I've had a change of heart on these. When I first demolded these, I really did not like them. They were way too blotchy, patchy, and too see-through. You can see my hand literally straight through the leaf, and they were just giving Jackson Pollock, and I'm not a massive Pollock fan, but these were a little bit too Jackson Pollocky for me, and I just didn't like them, which is why I then went on to create some more. But having looked at them for a couple of weeks, this was filmed ages ago, guys. This is such a late video, but I filmed this a couple of weeks ago. Looking back at them now and definitely seeing them on camera, I've got a new appreciation for them and the way they look. I love the fact that the green runs through the center of the leaves and the copper, orange and gold comes to the ends. I just appreciate them a bit more, I think, now. And when I demolded them first, my initial feeling was absolutely not my cup of tea. The next set we went on to make, I say we, I mean me and my hands, we went on to make were more of, I guess, just bringing it back a bit, bringing it back to just 1 or 2 colours and seeing how I get on. Now, this here is copper dust. Now, tragically, I can't tell you where to get it because this company is no more. If you guys remember the Super Sparkle White that I used a lot in videos, this is exactly that. It's like Super Sparkle White, but it's copper version of. So my plan was just to add it into the resin, and then I accidentally dumped a load. I accidentally spilled it on one of the leaves, and I thought, you know what, you're there, why not? Let's just go with the flow, roll with it, and just sprinkle some more on there. So that Super Sparkle Copper has gone into my epoxy resin, and into that I'm just adding in some copper mica. Again, this is the Resin Pro Copper Mica, just adding quite a bit in there. My plan here is to make these leaves two-toned, so we're going with some copper mica in the epoxy resin as well as the dark chocolate brown. Now again, the dark chocolate brown mica is also from the same company. The company was called The Colour Cottage. They're no longer in business, and I would absolutely love to somehow get in contact with them and find out where they sourced their things, because this dark chocolate mica is just everything. Now, you could use a split cup for this, and I have got split cups from Let's Resin, but I decided it's just one more thing to clean, so I just went for it. I'm actually pouring both together at the same time, and I'm allowing the chocolate to pour in on top of the copper so that they come out together. I had no idea if this would give us any kind of beautiful result, and in fact, even if you'd notice it, because let's be honest, resin does what resin wants, and in molds like these where the resin is traveling down the sides, I had no idea what to expect at all. All I know at this point is I'm obsessed with these colours. These colours are giving Gilmore Girls. They are just beautiful. And I already know that watching them on close up, they're giving chocolate and toffee treacle vibes. And I know they're not going to look like this tomorrow. Because, again, Let's Resin. Let's Resin. Not Let's Resin. I'm not blaming you, Let's Resin. Epoxy resin does what epoxy resin wants, and I had no idea what to expect. So again, demolding these a little bit fiddly, but once you get in there, you just rub your fingers and your thumbs all the way around. You can demold a lot easier. It's just they're not the easiest things to demold. This is what we're looking like. Now, first up, I was thinking I can barely see the different colours. I can't see much of a differentiation between the brown and the copper. They didn't create a pattern. They didn't let me know they're there, basically. You can see the brown around the edges more. Like, the more I looked at it, the more I thought, oh, there's the brown. Okay, there's the copper, there's the brown. But it wasn't like the background, you know. Your expectations are sometimes too high. I think sometimes epoxy resin likes to humble us and just tell us, like, lower your expectations, because I got plans. I got plans that weren't your plans. So yeah, they blended a bit more than I wanted to. Now the best way to get around that would be to let your resin thicken up. If I poured these two colours together, after about 25 minutes of them just sitting in the cup, I would have got completely different results. Completely different. They would not have blended as much. They would definitely have stayed in their lane, stayed a lot more separate, and I might have got more of an interesting visual impact, I guess. But as it was, I poured them both immediately after mixing. The brown and the copper blended pretty seamlessly, and what we've got is just a hint of a darker brown mixed in with the copper. Equally, that copper sparkle, oh my goodness me, I still love them. I really do like the more simplistic approach to these, but I have definitely found a new love for the mottled, chuck it in. That mica didn't really blend as well as it would on a flat surface, but yeah, I think they both bring their own qualities. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have these molds and what you've done with them. Again, all seasons. These would work for absolutely all seasons. I can imagine these in Halloween as well, just jet black or with some silver star sequins. Now here's the thing, I did have some leftover resin, so I grabbed this acorn mold that I used a ton last autumn. Haven't used it at all this year, but I figured if anything is worthy of this leftover resin, it's this. You can see right at the bottom, I've put in some of those gorgeous maple leaf glitters. And yeah, this was just a little extra because I had the leftover resin, but we're not going to focus on this too much because of these leaf trays. These are gorgeous trinket trays. Now, like I was saying, if you've got some silver holographic star sequins and you put them down in these trays, stick them to the silicone. I mean, you know, just press them on the silicone, then pour black epoxy resin. Stunning, stunning for Halloween. Equally, you could pour some clear resin in the backs, get some holographic foils in there, then pour black. Beautiful. These would work all year round. They would work with your eco as well in a nice neutral tone for that neutral home decor. So many possibilities with these molds. Again, I got them from Shein, super cheap with the support of my patrons. Thank you so much, patrons. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you feel inspired by this one. It's a much simpler, broken down epoxy resin project. But let me know if you've got the mold. Let me know what you've done with it. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.